Welcome, everybody, to our college football news special. Today, we're going to look at the Indiana Hoosiers hiring Curt Cignetti, the former James Madison Dukes coach, to be their head football coach as the Hoosiers have parted ways with Tom Allen. Make sure you like, subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell notification, and follow me on Twitter at Grueling Truth. All right, guys, the Indiana Hoosiers have named Curt Cignetti as its football coach. The Hoosiers sought out a new coach after firing Tom Allen on Sunday following Allen's dismal 3-9 season that ended in a 35-31 loss to Purdue in the Old Oak and Bucket game. Allen went 33-49 during his tenure and 18-43 in the Big Ten. His contract included a buyout of around $20.8 million guaranteed before December the 1st. But the program and both sides have agreed to a financial settlement of two payments of $7.75 million each. Cignetti coached at James Madison since 2018. The Dukes are 19-4 over the past two seasons, 13-3 in the Sun Belt Conference. The 62-year-old Cignetti is 52-9 in his James Madison tenure. Now, what does this mean for Indiana? I mean, to me, Cignetti is a terrific choice for the Hoosiers, not just because of his success, but because of his pedigree. This is a man who has coached at all levels of the sport, ranging from the recruiting coordinator at Alabama to the head coach of Division II, Indiana, Pennsylvania. The way Cignetti orchestrated a seamless transition for James Madison from an elite FCS powerhouse to a Group of Five championship program should give IU fans hope that he can do the same in Bloomington. I mean, let's look at it like this. Going from FCS with James Madison, he goes to Division I. In his first year, he wins the conference. In the second year, he wins his conference. He's ranked in the top 25. They won't be allowed to win the conference championship because of there is, when you move from FCS to Division I, there's a few years of a window there where you're not technically allowed to win your conference. But he went in and beat established teams in a decent conference. That is a very good thing for the Indiana Hoosiers. Tom Allen did a great job for a while. And I mean, Kalen DeBoer, Gabe Womack, or Kane Womack, when you look at those guys were a lot of reasons for the success in 2020. Now, Allen did have them as his OC and his DC, so I give him complete credit for that. The problem here came when he was unable to replace them with guys of the same quality. The other issue was when you lost Michael Penix to Washington, who decided to follow his offensive coordinator. We see what's happened there. Michael Penix and the Washington Huskies are playing for a shot at the national championship tonight if they can win the Pac-12 championship. So Tom Allen's had a hard time retaining players. He's had a hard time picking up quality players in the last couple of years. Now, depending on who Cignetti signs in the portal, he has a chance to elevate IU into a bowl game in his first season, I think, and perhaps compete for the Big Ten's upper middle by the second season. You got to remember, with the Big Ten in transition, they're shifting from the divisions. Cignetti will need to rebuild the Hoosiers' defense capable of matching personnel. What I mean by that is this is going to be difficult for a lot of coaches because if you look at the Pac-12 teams coming in, they're more high fly, they air raid, they spread. A lot of RPOs, they throw the ball down the field. The Big Ten is still the Big Ten will tell you what it is because Iowa is in the conference championship game. And we've seen Ohio State and Michigan fail miserably a lot of times, battling the Alabamas, the Georgias, and the Clemsons of the world. So now these two ways of playing football kind of collide. So you need a coach that can get the personnel that can match up against either kind. And Cignetti, with his experience, has that. When you pull up his resume, he graduated from West Virginia. His first coaching job was as a graduate assistant for Foge Fangio in 1983 with the Pitt Panthers. And, he's also coached at Davidson, Rice, Temple. He joined Chuck Amato's staff at NC State in 2000. The 2002 team set a school record with 11 wins. In 2003, Cignetti was the quarterback's coach for Phillip Rivers, who was the ACC Player of the Year. Now, in those 7 years, Cignetti was there as an assistant, 5 bowl games. Cignetti also recruited future Super Bowl champion quarterback Russell Wilson to the Wolfpack before joining Nick Saban's first staff at Alabama. So, yeah, this man is a good enough coach. that Cignetti was an original member of Saban's Alabama coaching staff in 2007, serving as wide receivers coach and recruiting coordinator. The 2018 finished the regular season 12-0, 2009 14-0, won the national championship both years. The Tide won 29 consecutive games between 08 2010. Cignetti, as the wide receiver coach, coached Julio Jones. He also recruited Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram and linebacker Dante Hightower. From there, he went to Indiana University at Pennsylvania, a Division II school. Now, IUP had a 4-10 conference record prior to Cignetti's arrival in 2011. In his first year as head coach, the team won 6 of its last 7 games by an average of 28 points to finish 7-3 in 2012. The Crimson Hawks won the PSAC and advanced to the NCAA regional finals, finishing 12-2. Cignetti's 2013 team finished 9-2, and he led IUP to the NCAA playoffs in both 15 and 16. His 16 team finished 10-2. Cignetti finished at IUP 53-17 with 3 NCAA playoff appearances and 2 conference championships. Now, December 31st, 2016, he accepts the job at FCS Elon College. The Elon team, before he got there, had a 4-20 conference record and suffered through 6 straight losing seasons prior to Cignetti's arrival. But in his first season, the squad won 8 games in a row after an opening season loss to MAC champion Toledo. The Phoenix were ranked as high as 6th nationally. They played James Madison for the conference championship and were selected to the NCAA playoffs for the first time since 2009. Cignetti was named the Colonial Athletic Association Coach of the Year and was a finalist for the Eddie Robinson National Coach of the Year in 2018. Cignetti led the Phoenix to a 27-24 win over James Madison, ending James Madison's 22-game CAA football winning streak and then FCS best 19-game home winning streak. The win marked Elon's first ever win over a top 5 FCS opponent. From there, if you can't beat them, join them. James Madison needs a new head coach. They hire Cignetti. Cignetti was named head football coach in 2018 at James Madison. In his first season, Cignetti led the Dukes to a 7-game improvement over 18, finishing 14-2 in an appearance in the 2020 National Championship game. 2021 saw the Dukes play 2 seasons because of COVID, spring and fall, while claiming 2 conference championships and appearing in 2 national semifinals. JMU went 19-3 in 2021 and announced a move to the Sun Belt Conference effective fall 2022. Since he's been there, JMU has won the conference. JMU is ranked at the top 25 this season. All right, this is a huge hiring for the Indiana Hoosiers. Another reason why it's a huge hiring for the Indiana Hoosiers is you always have a problem if you've got a good coach and he's successful, he gets poached. Curt Cignetti is 62 years old. That is actually a good thing here, in my opinion, because with Cignetti being 62, I think there's a lot less chance that a big-time program is going to come scoop him up. Now, if he makes an immediate turnaround in a year or two, maybe that's possible. But let's face it, when you're with Indiana football, there is always the chance that a better job is going to come along if you've got a coach that's done well. What this means for Indiana, they've got a coach that's an outstanding choice that is coached at every level. He recruits at every level, and he does it outstanding. He has been great at turning around programs that were busted. And when you look at what he did at Division II Indiana, Pennsylvania, what he did at Elon, James Madison. I mean, James Madison went from an elite FCS powerhouse to a group of 5 championship program in 2 years. That should give IU fans hope for something in Bloomington. All right. Now, why did Indiana need this change? Indiana's won the fewest games of any Big Ten program since 2000. And once again, it's starting from scratch. Allen was the Hoosiers' perfect hire at the time following Kevin Wilson. And he put together his best season in 2020 during the COVID-19 campaign. Now, despite high expectations and talent in 2021, the Hoosiers almost immediately fell apart. They had too many departures. As we already talked about, you lost Michael Penix, tight end A.J. Barner, and they all left for contenders. Now, the Hoosiers played in arguably college football's most difficult division at the top, because you've got Ohio State, You got Penn State, you got Michigan. But what cost Tom Allen his job and what can keep the job for Curt Cignetti was his inconsistent performances against other teams Indiana played each year. Michigan State, Rutgers, Maryland, Purdue. Nobody expects IU to compete for Big Ten titles, but it fumbled multiple opportunities to get a regular bowl berth, which will keep you around here. So, I mean, when you look at this, the last successful head coach here at Indiana was Bill Mallory, and they summarily dismissed him when they shouldn't have, even though he had a few losing seasons. I don't think Indiana football is a place where you can't win. Look at what Lance Leipold has done at Kansas. Kansas was a program everybody said you can't win there because it's a basketball school. The emphasis is on basketball. Coach Leipold went there. They're 8-4 this year. And it took him exactly 2 years to have that team as a bowl team. I think Curt Cignetti can do the same thing here within 2 years. Another program is Coach Stoops with the Kentucky Wildcats. That's definitely a predominant basketball program that, since Coach Stoops arrived there, have been in a bowl game almost every season. So this is not an unwinnable situation in Indiana. And Tom Allen was a really good guy. He had a really great year in 2020. All Hoosier fans will always respect him for that. And also respect the fact that he is just a good, down-to-earth human being. And you can see that, by the way, a lot of these players jumped into transfer portal right away. But I think what we'll see is, I think once they meet Coach Cignetti and they see that the trajectory that this program is on, that the transfer portal in the future can be more of a positive than a negative for the Indiana Hoosiers. All right, guys, that's my take on the Indiana Hoosiers hiring Curt Cignetti as their next football coach. And I guarantee you this, we've already got an Indiana Basketball Weekly show, which we will be on tomorrow morning to recap tonight's Maryland game. But next year, we will start the Indiana Football Weekly show back up, which we ran in 2020. We kind of dropped off after that, like the IU program. You really can't blame us. But I'm really pumped up about Curt Cignetti. Indiana football, I think, is going to have some relevance again. So hopefully the basketball program can kick it up and we can go all year round with winners at Indiana University the way God intended it to be. All right, guys, I'm Mike Goodpaster. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Grueling Truth. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube. Click on BetMGM if you want to bet on college football or college basketball or the NFL this weekend. Whatever you want to bet on, BetMGM is the place to go. But for now, guys, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.